Hello everyone. In this video, I will demonstrate how to construct simple box plots using R. So the data that we will be using for this video is the festival data set that is right here. Uh, so I'm working on my desktop. We have R project folder, and inside R project folder, I have data sets folder, and that will be my working directory. And inside the directory I have this data set, which is the CSV file. So if I open this data set here, I have the hygiene score for day one for the participants coming to the particular event, and we have gender value as well. So what I really want to do here is to construct box plots for day one by gender and see the distribution of the data. Does the data look normally distributed? And Boxplot will also help me identify outliers, if any. So let's get started here. So first thing first, I need to load the ggplot2 package. So I will load that one here, which I already did. I don't want to start my R, but you might have to load it in your case. So let's bring it to our library here so that we have all the functionalities available. Set the working directory, just retrieve the working directory here. Let's read the data festival.csv here, and display first 10 records here. So we have day one, gender. These are the two variables that we will be using in our demo here. So let's do the box plot. So my box plot, let's construct the ggplot object plot and supply our data frame, which is my box plot data, and describe the aesthetics properties, AES. So on x-axis we have gender, and on y-axis we want to display day one scores. So make sure spellings are matched exactly like what you have in the data set, including cases. So uppercase, lowercase does matter. Okay. So as is, we just defined the ggplot object. We had to add layers to it that we want to display. And in this case, we want to display box plot. So I will add a layer called geom underscore box plot. And this is the bare minimum thing we need to do the box plot. Let's display the box plot. So let's see how this works out. So you see that we are looking at the box plot here by gender, male and female. And we have three outliers in case of male. The box plot looks very symmetric for each category. That means data is very uh, symmetric or close to normal distribution. Uh, so we would like to add titles to our x-axis, y-axis, and to the chart as well. So let's go ahead and add that one using labs function. Title equals, let's say, box plot of hygiene scores for day one. Okay, for day one. Okay, and we have x title equals, let's say, gender, and then we want to specify hygiene gene day one as the name of y-axis here, and that should work. So we see all those titles listed in our graph and started looking much better. Let's move on. Let's we want to uh, do the notched box plot by gender. So right now it's a plain. We want to do a notched box plot, and we want to also adjust the width. The width as is looks too wide. So That is simple enough. Let's do that here. So my box plot here, we have to supply notch equals true. Okay, and that should do the trick here. So this is the notched box plot. Let's adjust the width. So we'll say width equals let's say 0.5. Let's see. Yeah, so now it's a little better. We can decrease it to 4 if you want. So it started looking much better now. So this is how you would add notch and adjust the width. Now let's say we want to use different color and shape of outliers that we have here. Okay, so I will copy this one here. Right, so here width, what we have to do here, we have to add more properties here. So outlier dot color, let's say we want to use red color. Let's say we want to add uh, outlier dot shape, and we want to change the shape to star, so that should be number 8. And we also want to change the size equals, let's say we want to make it 2. And you should play around with this numbers to see which one will produce a good box plot for you. So you see that outliers are being represented by stars and size is 2, so started looking much better now. This is how you would add different color, shape and size to outliers. Okay, the next thing I want to do here is show the mean. Okay, so we would like to also add mean to the plot here. For that we have to use different function. So we will be using stat underscore summary, and we have to use function equals, let's say mean. Okay, let's not put in double quotes, not needed, mean. And then geom equals, let's say point. Okay, so that's what we want, that's the bare minimum we need. Let's see how it behaves. Yeah, so those you are looking at point, let's change the color and the size. Okay, so let's say fill equals orange. Let's say shape equals 23. That will be sort of small diamond. And size equals, let's say 3. Okay, so you see those small diamond there, they are representing the mean. If the mean is very close to the median value, which is the center line here, that means data is very symmetric. And very close to, I would say, it's symmetric, which means it's kind of closer to normal distribution. uh, Normal distribution is basically a bell curve, and this simply means that the data is very symmetric here. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind here. So moving on, let's say the last thing we want to do is change the color of the plot by gender. So I will copy this one here, paste it here, and let's tab our code so it's readable. And here we want to add color equals gender. Okay, and that should do the trick here. So you see it's being colored by gender. Instead of color, you can also do the fill by gender, and it'll fill it by those color, whichever you like better. Okay, you can do that. So I'll use color, that's better for me. Okay, now other thing you have to keep in mind is if you have any other categorical variable, you can bring that here. Okay, so it could be, you know, something else. It could be, you know, let's say you have uh, different times for the day. You have morning session, you have evening session, you have afternoon session. So probably if you have a variable called session, so you can bring it here, and what it's going to do is going to uh, add those additional layers, labels of the categories. So you have 3 sessions and you have 2 gender, so you'll see here 6 box plots, something you have to keep in mind. So right now we will just do the gender. So last thing we want to do is we want to save our chart here. So let's say they want to save it as a box plot, number 1 default size, and this is box plot. I want to give different uh, size of width and height, so it will save the last created graph. And if you go back here, box plot 1, okay, that's the default one. Okay, so you can copy and paste this in your Word document if you're doing any documentation. Here we have adjusted the size to 5 by 5, not looking that good, but you know, something I wanted to demonstrate that you can set the size of the plot if you want. With this, I will end my video here. Thank you very much for watching.